Yes, my eighth favorite thing, and that's
Mm.
is Christopher Reeve's performance as Clark Kent.
Yeah,
Now,
you
of
can't
course,
have Ken. You can't have Superman without Ken, and you
without
can't have
Clark,
Kent without Superman.
that's right.
So they are
I mean, I think,
yin and yang, aren't they, in some ways?
apparently he modelled his performance on Cary Grant in Bringing Up Baby,
Yes, exactly. Mm.
I've often thought
I've
that
seen another
maybe his
Howard Hawks
another Howard Hawks
film. Fantastic.
Howard Hawks fan club
Yeah, yeah,
episode
exactly.
3, 2.
Yeah.
But I think I used to think that, or I have thought in the past, I've wondered whether his performance as Clark Kent is maybe a little bit too silly or comical. But actually, this
Mm,
time watching it,
yeah.
I kind of I kind of retreated on that opinion a little bit. I sort of thought actually it's more complicated than that. But go on, what do
Mm.
you think about that? Do you think he's?
I think you're right. but I
I mean,
think what they're
it's a
trying.
matter of taste, isn't it?
It
Pure
is
taste,
it
if you
is a matter of taste, but I can really see where they're trying to come with it, and in some ways, what Reed has done with it, and also what the writers were trying to do with this is almost play Kent as this comical, um,
comic, yeah,
yeah,
not comic relief. I was going to say that's not
not
quite,
comic, yeah, exactly, not comic relief, even though it comes across
but
as
a figure of
comic
fun.
relief, but a figure of fun. But also, I see it much more as as a greater degree of illusion because
Hmm.
obviously the idea of Kent is to fool everybody to the fact that
Secret identity. Yeah.
secret
How could this
identity,
guy possibly be
and
Superman? No one's going
the
to suspect it.
easiest way you can do it is have someone as a kind of a bumbling fool
Yeah,
who is the kind of complete opposite of what Superman is portraying to be.
yeah.
If you take this as an example, kind of films that, well, I'm say films aside, but you take modern adaptations of biopics. So none of these actors look like,
Most of
okay,
them look nothing
nothing
like.
like them.
Don Cheadle looks
Yeah,
nothing like Miles Davis.
exactly. Yeah,
Rami Malek looks nothing like Freddie Mercury.
yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
But
But
it's their mannerisms. It's
it's the
how they
performance.
play. Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
performance. It's how they play the character.
yeah. It's like I mean, this is a more refined and complex and deeper version of that, but it's basically like what impressionists do.
Yeah, exactly.
You sort of when Rory Bremner, who looks nothing like Roger Moore, but he can sound like him and
The
behave like him or
mannerisms.
whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He doesn't want himself being found out. So if it can make Clark look like this bumbling, fooling of an idiot, nobody's going to think that he's Superman.
Yeah,
You
it's almost
know?
the commentary on acting itself, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
I read somewhere like once a Wikipedia article or something
Mm.
stupid years ago. I read that in universe in the comics, Clark Kent had like studied acting. He'd like studied the Meisner
Hmm.
technique or
Hmm.
something to try to sort of like
Surprised.
create this character. Because
Yeah.
well, which begs the question, which
Mm.
is I think is an interesting question about all this, which is which version is the real person? You've got Clark Kent, the clumsy oaf. You've got
Yeah.
Clark Kent, the guy, the hick from Smallville,
Yeah.
who are different from each other as well.
Yeah.
You've got
Yeah.
Superman, the confident, dashing hero. You've
Hmm.
got Kal-El, the orphaned alien.
He's actually playing on, he's tying into these different
Yeah,
aspects of who he is or who he wants to be. And he goes, right, okay, I can play this for this, I can play this for this, I can play this for
he's.
this.
I mean, they're all him, but he's just
Mm.
code switching according to who he's doing, which is something we all do.
I
I
think,
mean,
yeah, we all do.
we all
Yeah.
do it. Well, I
Yeah.
don't talk to you the same way that I talk to my infinitely better half,
No,
or the same way that
exactly.
I talk to my parents,
Yeah,
or to my in a job interview, to my doctor.
exactly.
We all code
We all
switch.
play different characters of ourselves
Yeah.
in life.
I think my favorite version, if you like,
Mm.
of the character, or my favorite sort of side of him is actually the Kal-El, the orphaned alien. Because I'll tell you why.
Mm.
I'll tell you for why.
Yeah.
It's mainly because of a scene that's in the restoration cut from 2000, which I obviously didn't watch today because I watched the version that doesn't have
Right.
this scene, which you may remember because you've seen this version, of course.
Mm.
After Superman's had his first night in Metropolis, where he saved the president, he saved Lois, and all that, and everything,
Yeah.
he flies back to the Fortress of Solitude,
Mm.
and he has another conversation with
Yes,
the
right.
hologram of Jor-El,
Yeah.
and you sort of see this side of him that you don't see anywhere else in the film. Like he sort of goes, he flies back, and Jor-El says, I think the first line is Jor-El says to him, "You'll enjoy it,"
Mm.
and Superman's like, "Well." yeah.
Yeah,
Or Kal-El is like,
yeah,
yeah, I kind of did actually. And he's sort of saying it's okay to enjoy it, you know. And there's also the scene where they sort of establish the reason for the secret identity because Jor-El says
yeah,
something like, I would suggest that you I'm trying to do Brando doing the English
yeah.
accent. Can't even do Brando doing an American accent. I would suggest that you he says something like, I would suggest that you maybe create some kind of um secret identity because
Yeah.
you can't be on call 28 hours a day.
Mm, yeah.
24. Oh yeah, sorry, that's 28. That's just a
Yeah.
nice little joke. But 28 hours a day on Krypton. But no, it's kind of it's quite a tender scene because he sort of says
Mm,
like, "Oh, Father, you couldn't have known what it was like. You couldn't have known how it to feel." And it's like, well, I kind of do because I'm your dad and you're part of me, and I know.
yeah.
And that's this lovely, and it's kind
It's
of
quite interesting because I remember that scene as well, and
yeah.
I'm thinking where that's the figure he really needs.
It's a side of well, yeah. It's in fact
Yeah,
it's a side of Jor-El we don't see elsewhere. I mean, he's only in a
exactly.
couple of
Yeah.
scenes anyway, really.
Mm,
But still, it's a side because yeah, again, like we were saying earlier, Jor-El tends to come off as very authoritative and sure of himself, and
exactly.
this is the
Yeah.
scene where you see a more sensitive side to
Yeah.
him and a more fatherly side, really.
Mm,
And at the end of it, he's sort of like he tries to sort of give him it's gonna sound cheesy, but he tries to sort of he says something like, "Oh, my son, if only I could sort of hold you in my arms and make it all feel better."
yeah.
And it's really and he sort of like and he sort of they sort of almost do cuddle, but of course
Mm.
because he's a hugger, he
Oh,
sort of
yeah.
disappears, and like Superman's there like with his arms like, and then he sort of realizes what he's doing, and
Yeah.
and it sounds kind of naff, and a certain audience member is going to look at it and think it is a bit naff, but in the execution of the scene of that moment, I should say, but I actually find it really, I think it's lovely. I think it's
No,
actually
it's
lovely,
quite touching.
yeah. Especially for, given that the central theme of most superhero movies is father-son relations
It's
and their
exactly.
discontents.
There is one particular scene, and I even remember watching this as a kid, and when I saw it, and I was really, really young, and I went, "Wow!" in my mind when I saw it, and it's just the most simplest aspect of acting, and one still to this day, one of the best portrayals I've seen of an actor going from one character to a different character
Before your
in
very eyes.
before your
Yeah,
very eyes.
I know what you're going
Change
to say.
one character for another character. Most of you know watch this movie will hopefully know the
You probably you
moment
probably
I'm
guessed.
you've probably guessed. It's the simple bit where he's taking his glasses off as Clark Kent and he raises his
Yeah,
shoulders back up to the position to where he would be if it was Superman.
he
And
changes into
it
Superman
changes
basically
into Superman
without the
in front
costume,
with
but
without the costume, right in front of
just
your
with
eyes,
acting.
just to change of position and posture.
Mm.
It's incredible. It really is
Mm.
incredible. And you don't think it's much as just going from a slouching position to a. I'm not an actor, so I'm
You
not
do
even
it
going
quite
to
well
try it.
because we're sort of slouching already
We
with the
are.
way we're
We're in
sitting
a
on
comfortable
sofas. So
sofa.
yeah,
Um,
but
but
it's like
that very, very simple. It is a very simple
and he
action.
changes his voice as well.
Changes. Voices changes.
Uh, Lois,
There is
is
something I need to tell you.
yeah,
And
Lois, Lois, I'm really, I mean,
I'm
at
really
last,
hungry
really,
for a
really
hamburger.
nervous.
Um,
Darn it, I was going to show you the time of your life.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe we can go for a hamburger or something.
Um, and it is, and he does that again. I think it happens again in Superman 2 when Lois works out his
Oh,
identity.
yes, by the fireplace, the
But
pink
yeah,
bear. Yeah.
exactly. Where you get see it again, but a bit more. I think a bit
You
more
see it from behind,
dramatically.
don't you? And of course, it pays off this time.
It does. It pays off a bit more.
Probably in the original script, it was like, here's the setup and there's the
Yeah,
payoff later on.
exactly.
Yeah, it's a great
For
scene.
me, it's just absolutely phenomenal. And again, I haven't seen any level of an adaptation where that's done anywhere near as well.
No, I don't. I'm not sure any other actor has really tried to play those two sides so differently.
Mm.
Those two characters, really, or to play them as
Yeah.
two characters, really. I'm trying to. I mean, to a certain extent, maybe,
I mean,
but
because again, I mean,
not to
you
that extent.
mentioned it earlier that some of the other portrayals of Superman and Clark Kent, you've got some actors that actually do a better Clark Kent than Superman, or a better Superman than Clark Kent.
Hmm.
I think with Reeves, you get a fantastic
Get the whole
both.
package.
You get the whole package. You get both.
Where
You
is
get an
it?
amazing Superman and a very, very interesting Kent, whether
Mm.
you like the bumbling idiot or not. Um,
But again, I think actually, I think yeah, like I say, I sort of, I think I've dialed back on the kind of is he too silly thing because I don't actually I don't think he is because there is a dignity about Kent as well, about
oh
his name
yeah,
as well.
well,
Like
exactly.
and a certain like he doesn't he does kind of stand up for himself a little bit, or at least he knows who he is.
Yeah.
Like things like and again in Superman 2, where
Well,
where he says, "I don't you watch? Didn't you see it on the television?" He says, "Oh, I don't watch television. I was reading Dickens."
hmm.
And it's like, but he's not self-conscious about that, or
No.
like, oh, good, he's such a dork or whatever. He's just like,
Yeah.
oh, well, whatever.
Hmm.
There is a certain,
But even with the
um,
dorkiness, you take the
but he
very,
sort of embraces his own dorkiness to a certain
it's
extent, doesn't he?
very set up. The bit where he's trying to open
Oh, the
the
champagne bottle,
champagne bottle,
yeah,
and
yeah.
the
She
champagne,
waits on
yeah,
the
and
table.
bangs it on the toe, and of course then he opens it and he sprays all over the place. But then with that sort of thing, that
And
type
what's
of
that line he says
character,
though? He says like, she says, "Oh gosh, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to shake up like that." And he says, "Oh, that's okay, Miss Lane.
you
Why would
want
anyone
to
want
try
to
and make a fool out of
why would anyone want to make a total stranger look like a
a
fool?"
fool.
But there's almost a passive aggressive sort of like,
Exactly,
yeah, like
Um,
because you're doing it on purpose, aren't you?
yeah.
Or are you?
It's so subtly
It's very yeah.
lovely.
There's all
It
these little layers
really
in it.
is.
There's
Yeah.
layers in it.
Mm.
He really was a brilliant actor.
Mm.
And Christopher Reeve
It's Christopher Reeve.
gone way too fucking soon.
Me too.
Anyway, shall we move
Yeah.
on
Shall we? Yeah. Move from Clark Kent on to.
to
Mm,
thing number nine? And
yeah.
it's a bit rude calling her a thing. She's not a
Yeah.
thing.
No.
She's a person. Uh, Margot Kidder as Lois Lane.
Yes. Hmm.
As I said before, I recently rewatched the whole Lois and Clark TV show
Yeah.
from the 1990s. So I got to say, I think on balance, I think Terry Hatcher is my favorite Lois Lane.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Okay.
bear in mind,
Mm.
she got like four whole seasons to develop the character,
Yeah.
whereas
To
Margot
be.
Kidder only got four
Yeah.
movies, or if you don't count
Well,
Superman 3,
three
she's hardly in
movies.
Superman
Yeah.
3, so
Yeah.
three
Exactly.
movies.
Yeah.
But Margot Kidder was
Mm.
my first Lois Lane.
Yes.
So again, you know, like Christopher Reeve, she sort of set the template in my
Mm.
sponge of a brain.
And I think she was even though yeah, the portrayal of Lois and Clark, she's you do get to see her more. So yeah, you're right.
On the
She
TV show.
develops years as a TV show. I still think that Margot Kidder is a much more feisty Lois.
Terry Hatcher's pretty feisty
I
too.
know they are quite feisty. This is what I'm saying. I mean, yeah, I agree with you that she is a very, um, she gives Marco Kidder a run for her money. They're brilliant. They're both
They're
brilliant.
both brilliant.
Yeah, they are.
I love Margot too. She's great.
Yeah.
And
Mm,
also, um, and this is probably true of most portrayals of Lois Lane to a certain extent, but uh, just as Christopher Reeve is playing different sides to the character,
mm,
like we were saying before, I think Margot Kidder actually does the same thing. Look at how she behaves when she's with Clark. She's tough. She's assertive. She's
yes.
dismissive of his attentions. She
Yeah,
kind of
very much so.
treats him like a
But
sort of
then
treats him like a
I guess
Labrador.
she's probably doing it with most men as well, because I mean that kind of like she's a powerful woman. She knows what she wants.
No, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But we
So
don't. But we only really. Well, she's a little bit like. She's a little bit like that with
but
Perry as
then
well. She's
women like
cheeky with
that
Perry, right?
can
Isn't she?
sometimes get a additional amount of attention that is unwanted.
Oh yeah.
So she's probably got used to having to blow men off a bit, sort of like, sorry, use the wrong terminology there. Let's try that again. So,
It's not that kind of a movie. But when she's with Superman,
hmm.
completely the other way. She turns into a schoolgirl with a crush.
Yeah,
Like the
but
dynamic of
yeah,
their
oh, very
relationship
much so.
changes
But then
completely.
not sort of like gooey eyes, but yeah,
No, she is.
yeah, she's very much going weak
She
at the
turns to
knees.
jelly when
Yeah,
she's around him. That's my point.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um,
but again, it
mm.
works. It feels like the same person
Exactly.
or different sides of the
It
same
feels a
person.
lot more natural.
Yes,
Yeah.
less because with Clark, it's obviously more deliberate and sort of
Hmm.
manipulative, really.
Yeah. Because
Um,
she knows he's got favorite, he has favoritism for her, but
his feelings for her, yeah,
she's like, I'm really not interested in this type of
yeah.
guy. I'm just gonna no, I'm not interested in you. Even though she accepts a date to go out with him and stuff like that, which
Mm.
I feel is a little bit weird.
Yes, I was thinking that earlier. Like, she's sort of always saying about, oh, I'm not into I mean, she doesn't say as many words, but she says like
Mm.
she's talking about herself, my sister. She's got three kids, two cats, and one mortgage. Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's like
exactly. I'm not
I'm not.
interested in that
I'm
sort
a
of
career
thing.
woman, basically,
Yeah.
is what she's saying.
The bit where, Lois and Clark go out on a date is almost sort of contrived by the writers.
Well, it is because yeah, like you
Yeah.
said, she's why would she?
Why she'd even
Why would she even?
entertain the
Why
idea.
would she just blow him off? And I'll do it now.
Yeah.
Why would she even say like? Why would she accept his offer, his invitation to go
Mm,
on a date? It does
mm,
seem a bit, and it is a date because
yeah.
it's not just like going out as friends. It's like,
Mm,
darn it, I was going to show you the time of your life,
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that is a bit weird. And I guess it's a contrived. Well, it's a contrived. I don't know, but I'm not sure. I mean, but I don't even know if that needs to. Does it even need to be? I suppose just to establish. It's just to establish,
Yeah.
reinforce that dynamic, isn't it? Really, just to say like Clark likes Lois, Lois likes Superman.
Mm,
She doesn't know that they're the same person.
yeah.
That's that which is the eternal love triangle of comics. It's the central love triangle of comics, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
The love
You
triangle with two
and
people in it.
I
My 10th favorite thing
yes.
about about the film is Gene Hackman's performance as Lex Luthor.
Yes.
Um, now,
Go on to Gene Hackman.
I mean, some people say that he's. I've heard it said that he's too funny in the role, or he's too
Mm,
almost like a comic relief. But and especially with the sort of the comedy sidekicks and all that kind of thing.
yeah.
He's Miss
Hmm.
Tessmark, Miss Tessmark, and Otis. But
Otisville. Oh,
Otisburg, Tess
Otisburg.
Tessmarker Peaks with the two
I
little
know.
mountains. I never
I know.
noticed that until like maybe the
Brilliant.
time before I last put
Right.
it um, on the little map. But yeah, I guess the way he's written, there's a little bit of
Mm.
comic relief, like he's a bit sort of,
Well, they're
but
trying. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
this is why you cast Gina, you see,
Okay.
because he can make a character sort of funny on the surface,
Mm.
but he can also he can convey that cunning and that mean streak underneath, that
Yes.
rattlesnake kind of
Yeah.
cunning. And also and even also the other element of the
Yeah.
sort of main element of his character is why does he surround himself with these total
Mm.
nincompoops? Like the rhetorical
That's the.
question he asks himself,
I know.
because he's
Yeah.
desperately insecure. He
Yes.
wants to be told all the time how brilliant he is. He's always going on about how he's the greatest criminal mind of our time,
Right. Yeah.
and it's like everyone else is going like, yeah, all right, you
And
keep telling us.
here's an interesting thing. You think about this now, whether you've thought about it, but you look at other adaptations of Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
How many times has that happened again, where he's surrounded himself by idiots?
Um,
So can you think of another?
Let me think. The guy in Lois and Clark, he's only been in the
Mm,
first season. He's got a couple of henchmen, but they're not idiots. There's
no,
the sort of
yeah,
there's the English butler guy, his sort of evil
yeah,
Alfred.
exactly.
I am struggling to think of another example.
Because there really isn't one, even
Yeah,
in the most recent adaptation.
yeah.
You know,
It's
what you
well,
will
I guess
see.
Superman Returns, but that's kind of the same
Mm,
universe, just recast, isn't it? Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
The other thing as well is when you look at Luther and whatever type of henchman he's got, it's obviously people of a sort of like lower but
Status, yeah, yeah.
status, but of a reasonable intelligence. It's not like
These
you've got complete
well, Miss
comic book
Tessmacher's
buffoons.
not. I mean,
No,
Otis is a clown,
Otis is a clown. Yeah.
but Miss Tessmacher is a
Okay.
bit more. She's a bit. No, she's not daft.
No, she's not.
She's
She's
not as
not.
daft as Otis
No,
anyway.
exactly.
He's not as smart as Lex either. He's kind of like a Bond villain, isn't he? The way he's written,
Exactly.
as
And
well.
I
With
think
the
as
lair, as we
well,
said,
I
and
think as well, Hackman gets to play with that a bit. I think, we're
yes,
talking, 78, so this is pure sort of Bond era
yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
Well, the
So,
Bond films were basically a template for how you do this kind of thing.
yeah, exactly.
And then
You
Guy
know,
Hamilton, I think, was
classic.
slated to
Yeah.
direct at one point, who directed a bunch of Bond films.
Hmm.
He did Goldfinger and stuff like that, Live and Let Die and whatever. But he couldn't do it because they were shooting in England and he was tax over
And,
for these
and you
films.
get to see Hackman really play
Yeah,
with
and
this as well. He really plays with it and really enjoys
and they
it.
probably give him a bit of leeway on it as well because he's a he's a second build after
Well,
Brando. He's a
exactly.
big
Yeah,
star.
on
He's
the
an Oscar-winning
billboard was it
actor.
was
Brando,
Brando
then
and
Hackman,
Hammond.
then the
Yeah,
title, then
yeah.
starring Christopher Reeve. I mean, the film had absolute all-star cast at the
Mm,
time. I mean, you look at it
yeah.
now, and a lot of these actors perhaps are a little bit forgotten because they're way before our time. Even
Mm,
people like Trevor Howard and
yeah.
Susanna York, even and people like
Yeah.
that, who are kind of not forgotten, but I mean, perhaps were certainly were big names at the time. Glenn Ford, Ned Beatty, people like that.
Yeah.
Terrence Stamp, of course. He's only got one scene really.
Right.
Oh, for Christ's sake!
Yeah, Terrence Stamp.
See what I mean?
Yeah, it's yeah, we
It's
just
Dad's Army.
yeah,
Dad's Army.
yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean, Terrence Stamp is only in it for one scene at the beginning because, of course, the
exactly.
idea was he was going to turn up later and cause havoc, but that was in the second movie, which of
Or
course,
the end of the original
yeah, he was going to turn
first
up at the end of
movie.
the
Yeah,
yeah, but it's as a cliffhanger, but of
yeah,
course, it was it absolutely owned Superman 2, I think it's
yeah,
fair to say.
totally.
What I love about Terrence Stamp as General Zod
Mm,
is that, like, the angrier he gets, the
yeah,
more cockney he gets.
I know. I love
Like,
that. I
I remember,
really
like,
love that.
because like because Terence Stamp, of course, it was from the East End of
Yeah,
London.
he
He's from
is.
Stepney,
Yeah.
and he did like, and most of the time, because he went to drama school, most of the time when he's doing his sort of speech at the beginning, he's like, you alone will be held responsible by me. He's kind of doing that RP kind of
Mm.
voice, but then as he gets angry, he's like, he's just like, you will bow down before me, Jor-El, both of you, and then one day, your ears,
Your ears.
your ears,
Drop the H.
your H, you know what I mean? Jor-El. Jor-El. Not yet. Anyway, that's a Cockney joke. Thing number 11.
Mm.
Oh, cheers. We've got new drinks. Like
Yay.
we
Cheers.
just at super speed we ran into the kitchen and got new drinks.
Yeah.
That's really what happened, isn't it, Alan?
Hmm.
Yes. Uh
Lovely.
my 11th favorite thing about Superman the movie is, well, the last two things are specific scenes that I want
Mm.
to talk about. My two favorite scenes in the movie,
Yeah.
very different reasons. One of them is an action scene and one of them is a dialogue scene, really.
Okay. Yeah.
And I love them both. The
Mm.
first one is the helicopter scene.
Oh, good.
Superman's first full
Yeah.
appearance in Metropolis. Lois Lane's hanging off a helicopter,
Phenomenal.
but for dear life,
Yeah.
she's gonna die.
Mm.
Superman sweeps up and saves her.
Mm.
Now, what a way to introduce your hero.
I know.
Like it establishes all of his main superpowers. He can fly. He's really strong. He's really fast.
Yeah.
Stronger and more powerful than a falling helicopter.
Yeah.
And like, Lois is right there watching it all, just as helpless as the audience.
Hmm.
We're literally in his hand or in his arms.
Mm.
Um, and the scene, what I like about the scene in terms of how it's structured, it sort of builds tension step by step. It's very suspenseful. Like,
Mm.
and Richard Donner has form in this because not too long ago we watched The Omen, and there's a lot of suspense,
Yeah.
big set pieces in that as well. So he's really good at the suspense thing. But this scene is just keeps, every little thing, just like first you see the little thing shaking forward, comes loose, the
Yeah.
helicopter comes up. Oh no, it's got caught. Oh no, it's going. Oh no, the helicopter, and then oh no, it catches on the helicopter leg and it blows
Yeah.
up, and the top blows up, and then it blows from the edge of the building. The pilot's
Hmm.
unconscious. She's
She's
she's trying to
climb
climb over
over.
him,
Yeah. Exactly.
and what happens when she does climb over him, he's
Mm.
going to fall to his death. Probably what
Yeah.
the helicopter's going to. Oh, it's just like, and you get a real proper sense of peril.
Mm.
Certainly for the kind of film that this is, which is a fantasy film, a children's film, you get a real sense of,
Mm.
again, what I was talking about earlier about Donna's direction sometimes being quite brutal,
Yeah.
but it's for a purpose, and the purpose is to make you feel
Mm.
stakes,
Yeah.
emotional, dramatic stakes. And it has to have that,
Mm.
otherwise we won't feel the relief and elation when Superman music swells, he flies up and saves her. Like she flies up and catches her, literally catches her in
Catch her in
midair,
midair. Yeah.
and he says, like, "Don't worry, miss, easy, miss, I've got you."
You.
And she says, "You've got me.
Me.
Who's got
No,
you?"
you.
Um, and then he
And
flies up, and
yeah.
more tension because you think, "Oh, that's a little bit of relief,"
Yeah.
and the
But
music
then the
still is, the music
helicopter.
still doesn't quite,
Yeah.
and then the helicopter's still there, and it fall as they're flying back up towards the roof, the
Mm.
helicopter then falls and it's falling right on top of them, and he
Just
just
grabs it.
catches it, and then the music hit the big
And
theme, and
this is
it's
the one thing I love about this scene
yeah,
is just the simple strength. I mean, if you look at it, he's just grabbed hold. He's not even
yeah,
tensing to
yeah.
grab hold
It's
of
just
the
like
helicopter.
it's
It's
like he's
just
it's like he's hanging off it.
yeah, exactly. Which in some ways in the scene he probably is, but in the scene how it is shown is his humongous amount of strength
Yeah, yeah,
and the effortlessness.
exactly. He doesn't make it look. He doesn't do the sort of the pooping face. The sort of
No,
like, it's like,
which you could have done so easily,
yeah,
but
He's
He
just like,
didn't,
oh,
and I think
got
in
it.
in modern adaptations they would just do the grimace, make it look hard,
Make it look, yeah, make it look like
show
it's
the
pretty.
effort.
Yeah,
It's no,
yeah,
you don't need to show the effort.
yeah, because it's effortless.
Exactly. Um, and one of the other things I love about this scene as well is actually right towards the very end is like, he takes the top, puts the helicopter down,
Puts her down, puts the
puts her
helicopter
down,
down
you know,
behind. Yeah,
and then she's like,
yeah,
who are you? And just that simple, a friend.
and that's it.
And then just flies off. And then
He
as
doesn't
he's
say,
flying,
"I'm
like,
Superman."
no, just a friend.
Yeah,
Because obviously it's the first time he's showing up.
yeah, yeah,
And again, even that simple bit right at the very beginning where Clark Kent comes out of the building realizing what's going on. He's
yeah.
looking around for
Finds the
someone
hat.
to, yeah, fine.
Yeah,
But then looks at the telephone booth and it's the wrong type of telephone booth. I
gotcha.
love that.
That's all right.
That is a brilliant little like
Yeah,
comical line. But then finds the revolving door to change into Superman.
yeah.
And then that fantastic line is the guy's like, "Hey, cool threads,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
cool threads,
It's a
dude.
bad
It's a
outfit.
bad outfit, man." And he goes,
Excuse
"Excuse
me.
me."
Think about it.
Um,
Actually, it's the key scene in the film because if this scene doesn't work, if you think
mm,
about what the movie's doing, it's taking this fantasy character, this ideal character,
mm,
and putting him in this very cynical post Kennedy, post Watergate world.
mm,
A version of America is very cynical, kind of,
yeah,
and that contrast, it's sort of like it's like I'm going to save you whether you believe me or not. I'm going to
yeah,
help
yeah,
whether you believe me or not.
yeah.
And to do that very publicly,
Mm.
like I mean, what's more public than because there's all these people,
Oh yeah,
all these
everybody's
people, all the
watching.
reporters and
Cameras,
bystanders
yeah,
watching
down the
it all,
hall,
filming it
yeah.
all. It couldn't be more public.
One of the characters in Big Bang Theory was saying, and he's kind of disprove that scene where Lois is falling down and Superman catches her. And of course, Superman is the man of steel. So if he just suddenly catches someone who's falling from a great height,
Oh,
she's just going to sort of like slice through his
yeah, yeah.
arms.
No, his arm was like through
Yeah,
her. Yeah, yeah.
his arms are sliced through her. But actually, if you look at the image,
Look at the
if you
shot.
watch the shot, and this actually worked out because I did watch this, someone else as a physicist
Yeah.
worked out if this scene is actually real or not. And this is how good Donna was
Mm.
even then, was actually when you watch Superman catch her, he drops.
Yeah. He
He
goes with her
actually catches her. He
with
doesn't
the
just
camera rather
doesn't
behind all the stuff,
bang
whatever it
and
is.
she
Yeah.
goes up because you're absolutely right. He would just
Or the image behind
he would
them
just
goes. Yeah,
cut
yeah.
in half. But as
He's got
he
to catch.
reaches
He can't.
her,
He can't
he drops down to meet her and reduce her impact
like
and
that.
then takes her
Yeah.
back up. So no, she wouldn't have sliced into three pieces. Uh,
It's almost as if the Big Bang Theory is full of shit. But this particular scene, it still gets me every time I watch it. Like
yes, I
it
would
makes me.
agree.
It always makes
I
like
would agree.
I've been known to start crying just describing it to people. It's in too much detail. If I get carried away, I'll be like, oh, and then but it won't because. Uh, and from now on, I'll be incorporating into my Alan Partridge-esque recreation. The what you said about and did you notice when he catches her, they go down a little bit first and then they go back up
Yeah.
because that's true. I noticed that as well. That's
Yeah.
true. It's a very good point. Uh, my final labor of
Okay.
Hercules, my final labor of love, my final thing that I love about most about Superman the movie is the interview scene.
Yes.
Where he has
Yeah,
a
I'm
on the
glad you've mentioned that.
on the
Yeah.
Lois Lane's surprisingly surely very expensive
Yeah.
penthouse apartment in Metropolis.
Hmm.
Uh, I'll see you tonight at your place, 8 p.m. A friend. Um, and he turns up late because he's probably getting another cat out of a tree.
Yeah.
But I mean, just as the helicopter scene sets up Superman's powers, this scene kind of sets up his personality and his motivations. It fills in the blanks of his background a little bit, which we kind of had earlier on when Jor-El. It kind of echoes what Jor-El was saying when to the baby Superman before he sends him up in the spaceship.
Mm.
With Lara, with Susanna York, but now we get sort of Superman's own take on that. Now we get like
Mm.
why he thinks he's there, according to everything he's heard from his ghost dad, from his Earth dad, from his experiences
Hmm.
and everything. And it also, of course, perhaps most importantly, establishes his relationship with Lois. The fact that because by the end of that scene,
Mm.
after they've flown all around Metropolis and
Yeah.
she's fallen again and he's saved her again,
Hmm.
and just their whole interaction throughout this, it's quite a long scene. I don't know how,
Mm.
including the flying, it's got to be 10 minutes.
Yeah.
At the end of all this, there's a look on his face as he's about to leave her. He's about to fly off, and he's sort of flown her back, and they're both, he sort of turns around and says, "You okay?"
Hmm.
And she's like, "Yeah."
Mm.
They're both like a couple of school kids who've just fallen
Yeah.
in love. It's really, and you can
Well,
see
it
it's
is.
mutual.
It is.
She's in love with him at the start
Well,
of the scene already, I
yeah,
think,
exactly.
because he saved her
And
life.
he's flirting with her.
Oh, we'll come on to that in a minute.
Mm.
But by the end of the scene, by the end of
Mm.
this whole sequence, I think he's in love with her too.
As soon as sort of like Clark Kent arrives at the Daily Planet and gets introduced to Lois Lane, you really do get that
He's kind of,
that infatuation, quite
yeah,
early on.
yeah.
And again, it just then
But it deepens
blossoms.
in this
It
scene. It
deepens and
deepens in this
blossoms much more during the whole interview scene, and that's why I said, yeah, it's a fabulous bit of flirting.
Oh,
At the
some of the dialogue. I mean,
It's lovely.
she's like, what she,
And so, are you single? Oh,
yeah. Well,
yeah.
let's start with your vital statistics. You
Yes.
married?
Yes. No.
Uh,
No.
and then she says like, and how big are you?
Yeah.
How tall are you?
Oh, yeah.
Which I didn't get as a kid.
Yeah.
I just thought, oh, she said the wrong word. She means tall, but she
Yeah.
said big because she's confused. She's
No.
confused, all right.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just the
Mm.
stuff about the underwear. What color underwear am I
Yeah.
wearing?
But it's
You
like,
like
yeah,
pink?
yeah.
I like pink very much, Lois.
Well, you'd be the first to know.
Oh, it's and they both play it. So again, it's the
Exactly.
giddy schoolgirl kind
And
of thing,
again, it feels
but
very
not
effortless.
completely. Yeah, it does. Yeah,
It does.
beautifully directed. It's
Hmm.
and acted. It's just so. It's exquisite.
Yes.
And then at the end of their conversation,
Mm.
he literally sweeps her off her feet and flies
Yeah.
her around Metropolis.
That's it.
And at the end of that scene, that's where he does the thing with the slouching, and then
Hmm.
Lois. So really, and then
Oh,
oh wow,
yeah.
that's really that bit.
I mean, for me, that just ties everything up. Kind of moving on to this kind of the interview,
Why are
sort
you
of
here?
opening in
What's your
himself. I mean, the only thing I find is a little bit corny and is the whole kind of what you hear for fighting truth, justice, and the American way. But
well, but that's the point. It's like it's inserting this completely uncynical character in this very cynical into this very cynical environment. That's kind of the
yes,
idea.
yeah.
I mean,
Mm,
yes, it is corny, but and of course, I think in later versions they say things like truth, justice, all that stuff, and
yeah,
so they sort of get rid of the American way bit.
yeah,
No, it is corny. I'm not going to. No,
yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's
Yeah.
not that corny, because of
No.
course it is. But again, I think it
But
works
it's
because
I kind of think it's meant to be
it's
corny.
sincere as
It's
well.
yeah.
He says it sincerely, and I think he does mean it.
Mm,
And because she says like, because she says, "Oh, you'll end up fighting every elected official in this country," and he says, "You don't really mean that, Lois." And he doesn't say that in a kind of aggressive or argumentative way. He says it like, "You don't really mean that, Lois."
mm,
Like he can't really mean that. He doesn't. He can't believe that she means that.
mm.
He can't. He is he. They we only like the light to show the way, and that's what Superman represents. That's what he's. Which is another thing. Another thing the scene establishes. This scene does so much heavy lifting, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
It establishes character, it establishes the relationship, it
Yeah,
establishes motivation, it
sure.
establishes God blimey. And of course, later in the film, or just afterwards, you see Lex Luthor reading the article, or Miss Tessmacher reading the article in the paper the next day, and it's
Mm,
all that's how and Lex Luthor immediately uses it to
mm.
hatch a plan to destroy him. So
Yeah.
it backfires for him as well. Uh, did you notice the trick shot?
Which one? Oh, what? Where?
He
Yeah,
flies away.
Christopher Reeve flies
Well,
away as
Superman
Superman
flies away in the
away.
background of the shot,
Yeah,
and then Lois walks to the front
the
door
door and
and opens it, and there's Clark,
Clark
all
Kent.
in one shot.
Yep, I know exactly how
That's
it's
about
done.
yeah,
Yeah, I can
back
tell you.
yeah. It's about
So
was it back
yeah,
rear
it was
projection again,
rear
isn't it?
projection. So basically, they shot the
Superman
scene
flying
with
away.
flying away, and you just watch the rear
That's a
projection
screen.
of that, and then obviously, yeah, Christopher Reeve's actually just waiting behind the
Yeah,
door.
the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a plot, but I suppose it is a making of, isn't it?
It is a bit.
But
Yeah.
what the hell?
But it's
Uh,
it's
uh,
it's movie
it's movie
magic.
magic.
Yeah.
And no, and if there's any sort of under eights watching, well, that's because obviously you flew out of the shot and then changed
Change
clothes at
really
super
quickly
speed
because he's Superman.
because
He's
it's
really
Superman.
quick.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So
Okay.
obviously we've gone through multiple aspects of the movie that you do like. Are there any aspects that you don't like?
Oh,
What are your grievances about this?
hmm,
You know, if you love something truly,
critical.
you need to be able to be properly
Oh, I
critical.
can
So
see it's flawed.
yeah,
Yes.
what are your greatest flaws of this
Well, I mean,
movie?
the obvious things like can you read my mind?
Yeah.
That's where Lois Lane does a sort of, you sort of hear her internal monologue, which is
And
flying through.
why do you dislike that? Why?
Don't I actually don't mind it, but I don't mind any of the flaws.
Mm,
I think it's. I mean, you were talking about corny. When you said corny a minute
okay,
ago,
yeah.
I thought you were going to talk about this. But you were talking about the True Assassin's Creed Rogue One.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think to be honest, I think the whole point is whatever. I mean, yeah. There's the can you remember? It's pretty naff. It's kind of
So can you read my mind?
it's pretty
Yeah.
naff,
Okay,
and the
yeah.
film could probably do without it.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, oh
But
God,
then
there's.
does it give a greater exposition with the how Lois feels
I
for
don't think it's
this
necessary.
character?
I think that's
Yeah.
blindingly obvious from
Okay.
everything else that
Yeah, I
you've
know.
seen and the
I
rest of
know,
the
I'm just
episodes.
trying to be critical.
No, I know, but no, I don't think it needs it. There was something else that I wasn't. I'm trying to think what it was. Because here's the thing. Here's
Yeah.
the thing.
Okay.
You asked me about the things that I think are wrong with the film, and there are things that all there are flaws, if you like.
Hmm.
But to me, because I love the film so much,
Yeah,
I love its flaws as well.
I know. I know what you
So
mean because I will
that
I
doesn't mean
have
that
this the same with my favorite film. So yeah.
that doesn't
Mm.
mean that I deny the flaws are there.
No.
I'm not
Yeah.
one of these idiots who thinks, oh, no, it's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. How dare you criticize the thing I like? I'm really insecure.
Mm.
I'm not one of those people. I used to be, but I'm not anymore.
Mm.
I grew out of it.
Thank God.
Yeah. But I think but I think so I can sort of say, yeah, okay, fair enough. That is a flaw or that's that. But either I don't care
Mm.
or I can sort of look past it because I love it anyway, because I love the film anyway, and the film works anyway generally, so I can just look past it. Or so the
Mm.
flaw isn't damaging in that case.
Yeah.
Or I mean, if you ask me about the 3 hour international cut, wherever it is, that one,
Yeah.
the 3 hour extended cut, which
Yes.
I have watched,
Okay.
uh, there's so many flaws with that. The
Right.
main
Okay.
flaw is there's too bloody much of it.
Yeah.
It's too long. There's just
Yeah.
they just put everything back in.
It comes back to the third rule of how you make a movie. Well, you make a movie in three ways. You make a movie by how you write it, make a movie by how it's acted and directed, and you make a movie by how it's edited.
Yeah,
So if you leave too much in, you ruin it.
yeah. You've got to kill your darlings, haven't you?
Yeah.
I think is the expression. So to answer your question,
Yeah.
yes, there are things that yeah, that's a bit naff, but I generally don't care. Well, like you love the people you love because
Mm.
despite their flaws,
Well, exactly.
thank God or I'd be bloody single.
Mm.
But it's sorry. But no, it's but, I don't want to have any friends,
But also, I very much know and understand why this is one of your favorite movies, or your favorite
It's
movie.
number one for
It
me,
is
yeah.
number one. I know it has always been your number one, and it will probably
Pretty much.
always remain your number
Yeah,
one.
I constantly deposing it.
But and again, all of us will have our, deep down, bottom of our heart, we know what our number one movie really is. I think really, and we'll come on to this because we will be doing this same episode on my birthday. What you haven't mentioned yet
Hmm.
is the reason our number one movie is always our number one movie. I think is because it's the movie that shaped us.
Yes.
It's
It's the movie that
it's
made us love movies.
it's the movie that's either made us love movies or made us into the person we are today.
Yeah. And I think for some people, that's a proper grown-up movie, like I don't know, Casablanca or something.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Yeah.
for me, it's Superman.
The only other thing I would say is one of the my favorite parts of this movie
Mhm.
myself. Um, It's, I think, the very end of the shot, the very end of the scene where Christopher Reeve, you've got the background shot of planet Earth,
Oh, the we've got
the little
the
wink,
sunrise
the
scene, sunrise
sunrise,
smile. Yeah,
sunrise and smile and wink, and
yeah.
basically, yeah, Christopher Reeve
Wink. He
turn,
doesn't wink. He
well,
just
we
smiles.
it looks like he
No, he just
winks.
smiles.
He smiles to the camera. It is a kind of breaking the fourth wall,
Yeah.
where Christopher Reeve looks straight at the camera and says, like, "Thank you very much, or I've got you covered."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, he doesn't say it, but he does.
yeah.
He says it with his eyes and his
It's
smile.
such a beautiful, beautiful scene
It's
right at the very end.
it's so good
Yeah,
they put it at the end of every Superman film.
yeah,
And also and again, it's one of those things that again could be done badly. It could easily be very cheesy, but I
very
think at
much
this
so.
point in the
Yeah.
film,
Mm.
it's a bit like it's a bit like that bit in the Avengers, the first Avengers movie,
Mm.
the sort of kind of orbiting shot of the whole team all
Yeah,
together at
yeah,
last, and
yeah, yeah,
the bystanders all clapping and
yeah.
cheering. That could be cheesy, but at this, in both
That
cases, at
particular
that point
point
in
in
the
that
film,
movie, you're like,
no, that yeah,
yes,
but because the film has earned it.
yes,
The film has done the
exactly.
hard work to establish characters, establish
No,
a situation,
yeah.
make you care about them, make you want them to win.
Hmm.
So by the time it gets to this point, we're like, yeah. And
Mm.
with this one, we're like, bye, Superman.
And so, yeah, I raise a glass to Superman. I
So
think
do
it's a
I.
very, very fine movie, even though it's not my favorite, but I know someone who it is. And yeah, I agree with his choice. So,
uh, like I said at the top of the show, I
mm.
was taken to see this film when it first came out, and quite frankly, that experience was so formative that
Mhm.
every time I've gone to the cinema since, I've been trying to capture that new and incredible feeling,
Yeah.
and I've never quite managed it. But there's still time.
Mm.
Uh, so that's it. I think we've done
Mm.
Superman. Wow,
Yeah.
it's what can I say except don't forget to subscribe and like.
Yeah.
And you know,
Yeah.
although we keep showering you with all these lovely, fascinating videos, don't thank us
Yeah.
because we're all part of the same team.
Yes.
Good night.
Good night.